without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, government should, I think all the stakeholders in this, they need to get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once again, the support your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning and welcome to the last edition of Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. This is the last presentation for the week. And with me in the studio is our public affairs analyst. He's been away for at least 2 weeks now.
Yes. I'm happy to be back.
Majid Ahiru. It's always a pleasure to have you on the
Thank
program.
you very much.
And my name is Winifred Ukubebo. We'll be looking at what the papers are saying this Friday. Incidentally, tomorrow being presidential primaries, the papers are awash with PDP and APC presidential primaries taking place tomorrow. We are looking at Nigeria's most influential force, the leadership. Leadership is leading with PDP. PDP's presidential primaries taking place tomorrow. It says 811 PDP delegates in moment of decision. How 14 aspirants stand. 811 PDP delegates in moment of decision. How 14 aspirants stand. The story is on page 4. And underneath the story are pictures of the presidential aspirants. Let's have a zoom on each and every one of them. First being the former Senate President and the former governor of Kwara State, Abubakar Bukola Saraki. We have Aminu Tabuwa, Sokoto State Governor. We have Ayin Pius Ayin, former Secretary to the Government of Federation and Senate President. We have Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President, Ayo Fayose, former Ekiti Governor, Bala Abdul Kadir Mohammed, Bauchi State Governor, Charles Ugu, lawyer and estate developer, Chikwendu Kalu, former Speaker, Abia Assembly, Dele Momodu, media entrepreneur, Mohammed Yatu Din, banker, economist, and Nyesom Wike, River State Governor. Underneath them, we also have Sam Ohambuwa, pharmacist, Tari Oba Oliver, security expert, Udom Iman, and that is the female, the only female amongst the presidential aspirants. So she's also vying for the top notch ticket as the president of Nigeria, Tari Oba Oliver. You see, I'm stressing on it because she's the only female amongst them. And we have Udom Emmanuel, Akwa Ibom State Governor. 14 aspirants, and it's just for one ticket only. Majid, how do you see them? The tension, there's so much tension in the land, and there's palpable excitement in the air for tomorrow.
I would say yes, tension, excitement, yes, but also I think a bit of disappointment in the entire process.
Why do you say so?
It's become overtly transactional. What we've seen in the primaries held so far, from the state assemblies to House of Representatives to governorship primaries, it's clear that after 23 years as a democracy, our democracy has simply refused to grow. In fact, the democratic parties in Nigeria appear to be worse today than it was even 23 years ago when transited from military to civil democratic rule, and it is very unfortunate. Before going into the individual analysis of the contenders in the PDP, it's important to state this fact. With the level of transactional politics that is taking place between delegates and aspirants, considering the fact that Nigeria today is at a tipping point to becoming a failed state, I doubt if any of these people, or if this set of particulars that emerge from this kind of process, will be able to salvage what was left of Nigeria. Let me just put it straight. We will not be able to survive another 4 years of resources mismanagement by this sort of political leadership. And that is something that is giving a lot of Nigerians anxiety and fear. Is our democracy really working? Now look at the PDP, it is the main opposition party. Now, one of their brightest, finest, most decent, somebody a lot of Nigerians have come to realize may just possess the leadership need of a distressed country such as Nigeria. That frugal management of resources that is needed now, the ability to create wealth, cut waste in governance. Somebody who will just come and crash the cost of governance, save enough money to reprioritize into funding security operations, infrastructure, and rebooting the economy, has resigned from the party and left the race. I'm talking about former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi. What this is telling us is that, okay, maybe the PDP is not ready for the kind of transformation that is required now, as envisioned by that gentleman. And that was why he clearly saw the handwriting on the wall and he left. And I respect him for that, because you cannot, anybody who is bringing out money today to procure votes does not with Nigeria well. It's not coming there to serve. It's coming there to self-service. Now, looking at the
quality of people, aspirants.
now, you have a lot of quality people here. One of them is Governor Udom of Akwa Ibom State. Governor Udom has done something phenomenal in that state. He has created an economy for Akwa Ibom around aviation services sector and manufacturing. Today, Ibom Air, an Akwa Ibom state-owned airline that he established, has become the preferred airline for most Nigerians. In fact, if you go to the airport, if you see other people that are flying Ibom Air, they look at you as if they are flying to this place while you're not flying to Lagos.
Really?
But there's this pride that they take, because Ibom Air is actually premium, one of the most premium airlines in Nigeria today. He did that magic, something that the federal government failed to achieve. He achieved by doing business. You know, I'm somebody who have always advocated.
Yes.
So what that means is that for every flight, every ticket that is bought to fly Ibom airline, we are paying something to the coffers of Akwa Ibom state government. So they don't longer need to rely solely on federal allocation every month from crude oil reserves. It's going to create that. And if that airline is able to grow to a regional player, it means Akwa Ibom might make more money from that airline that is making from crude oil reserves. They have also established a coconut oil factory. And if you know the worth of coconut oil in the international market and even the local market, you will agree with me that it is more expensive than refined petroleum per liter. Coconut oil. This man has leverage on the abundance. You know, they have a large beachfront in Akwa Ibom. They have a large coastal line, and so with a lot of coconut trees. Is leverage on that natural endowment to create a factory that converts it into value. And anytime from now, they'll start exporting. So for this and many more, I think anybody can manage an economy at the state level as this. It's also required at the center. At the center. We need to see government really go into business. And it takes a lot of discipline and dedication to do that. So for that, it's one of the people I look at alongside Mr. Peter, who just left the race. Now you have people like Hajuddin Mohammed. He's been a banker. He's not been in government before, but he's been a banker. You know, he's done well as a banker, and he's promising to bring his experience from the banking sector to the prudent financial management of Nigeria's scarce resources. Of course, you have the only lady there. She's bold. I've heard her talked about replacing state of origin with state of residence. She said it consistently, that this is one thing I am going to do, because that is the core of our problem. So, and that's also very valid. Now, you have others, you have that.
How does that put food on the table? How does that change the economy?
It actually tries to first reset the base of nationhood at the foundation, which is very important. Then I've talked about it too. You need some level of nationality and social cohesion for any of the economic policies to work.
Okay.
If you have national development,
Rwanda?
Yes, you have to do that. If you don't do that, you can't have development. Your policies will be distorted from the very beginning. It will be distorted. It will be implemented along the set rules, because certain conditions will not come into it. So it is something that needs to be put on the front burner alongside all the other beautiful policies and programs that people like Udom or P2B or Atiku is bringing to the table. But the unfortunate thing is this: I don't see Udom, not that the young lady, Hajini Mohammed, even Atiku winning ticket. The man who is actually positioned to win PDP ticket now, except God himself intervenes directly, is just on weekend.
Why is that so? I thought Atiku and even some of the others, they also have deep pockets as he has
Now,
the state
I
coffers.
think what it's no longer about just deep pocket, it is about long pocket now. The length of your pocket, not just not the depth anymore. We are told that he has been funding this party for as long as anybody can remember. A fellow Atiku finished his election run in 2019 and located to Dubai. He stepped into the leadership vacuum. Now the question is this: when we talk about funding parties, what does it really mean? Are parties supposed to be funded by public officers or individuals with deep pockets? Parties are supposed to be funded by individuals who simply key into their policies and programs. Now the problem is, how come the PDP has not been able to transform into an attractive party enough to attach such funding up until now, and now has to rely on the governor of Rivers, one of the wealthiest states in Nigeria, to fund the party. And he brought in the last NWC when he was no longer satisfied with their loyalty, he removed them and he brought this one. And because of the lacuna, or should I say the gap has been created by the failure of the president to sign the amendment to the Electoral Act, which now rules out the participation of statutory delegates in the primaries. It is only the ad hoc elected delegates that are going to vote in this presidential election. One from each government and a few others across the country, members of the NWC and all of that. By the permutation of the party, Wiki has a group of majority of the stakeholders that are going to vote in this election. So the person to beat the primary is Wiki, not Atiku. People used to make this mistake. I remember when P2B left, people felt Atiku is Atiku there now.
Yes, that's what.
That is the reason why P2B left and left the party. He is aware that the system has been rigged, has been skewed ahead for an individual who is said to be the biggest spender. I going to ask yourself, the Rivers State Accountant General right about now has been declared wanted for allegations of fraud to the tune of nearly 500 billion naira, way above 450 billion naira. Now, he jumped bail and has been installed now as a candidate of PDP in Rivers State. And now, Wike is coming to the center also to pick the ticket. Now, you begin to ask yourself, how does that look for the main opposition party going to the next contest with the ruling party? What are the optics? So it means the ticket that you sold to the highest bidder ahead of the primary election. And you expect Nigerians to vote for such a party. Let me take you down memory lane. Nigerians can vote for anybody, any character at the state level, government level, for senator, for reps. You know why? Most Nigerians don't reside in their place of origin.
So true.
So they don't have too much concern about how people are managing us in the state. Rather, they want their friend, family, tribesmen to occupy those positions in the state that they have easy access to. They can even leave their place of residence in Abuja and Lagos and take proposals to the state to go and get their own share of the national cake and come back. So people don't really have squabbles, whether somebody that has some character wins at the level. Nigerians have never voted for a corrupt, undesirable element as president in 1999. Only the best at every point in time emerges as president. From 1999 to 2015, in fact, 2019. In 1919, Obasanjo was seen as the best because he was seen as the most nationalistic. Not to be able to rock the boat, he was going to bring us together.
Which he did.
In 2007, the issue was corruption now. Obasanjo has created ICPC, EFCC, blah, blah, blah. So who is that person that will come and continue the one corruption and also not reverse it? That was when Atiku was ruled out because Obasanjo pronounced him corrupt.
Yes.
Then they brought a Yaradua, who was seen as the least corrupt in the PDP at that time.
And even before you even go further, remember he was also thinking of Peter Odili, but because of the corruption charge,
you cannot say you're fighting corruption.
Yes.
Hey, that be Peter Odili. For the same Rivers State.
Yes, I'm supporting what you just said, that trend.
Now, do you know that in 2007, President Muhammadu Buhari was considered by Obasanjo as a PDP candidate on the state of his anti-corruption credential. It was suggested, in fact, Ibadu and Nasir El-Rufai said to Obasanjo, since you're looking for somebody who is not corrupt, why don't bring Buhari to the party? It was considered. But the reason why they didn't bring him was, one, Buhari would not accept to run on any platform. And Obasanjo said, as at that time, people in the South still saw Buhari as a northern identity, so not to risk losing the election. But guess what? Buhari, being the kind of person he was, didn't have structure in AMPP. When people say they have structure in party, it means you are using corruptly enriched resources to sponsor people, pay their bills. That's what the structure. That's bit of structure. But he didn't have that kind of capacity to do that. I wasn't ready to do that. But the AMPP people realized that this man is popular. People love him. So we did a party a lot of good if you bring him and fly the ticket. But by 2007, two governors of the AMPP, Yerima, Sadi Ahmed Yerima from Sanfara, and Bukar Abba Ibrahim were finishing their terms as governors. They wanted the president, and the structure was in their hands. If you know the meaning of structure. But they didn't have structure. So why was really frustrated out of the ticket of AMPP in 2007? Babangida and Obasanjo called these two governors to and said, give a ticket to Buhari. Because we want two good candidates to emerge. That anyone that wins, we are sure of the safety of Nigeria's public purse. Back in 2003, people have forgotten this. Rocha was going to emerge as a candidate of NPP. Rochas. He had the structure. If you don't even know structure again. When Buhari was supposed to be propped up, they had to force Rochas to step down for him. But if Rochas didn't step down and go to that primary, he would defeat Buhari in the primaries.
Because he has structure.
He has structure. Now, by 2011, Buhari left the NPP. Because we're not ready to beg any governor for a ticket and form CPC. And within a year, Buhari came with 12 million votes in the general election. And AMPP, with about 8 or so governors, couldn't have 500,000 votes in the presidential election. That is, individuals matter in driving the party, not just the so-called structure. And by 2015, did Buhari carry Ghana must go to Lagos for convention? He emerged ahead of a financial that I knew then was sharing for $4,000. Buhari defeated that person. Not into second position. Defeated them down. Nigerians want good governance. Now in 2019, even though some people were supporting Buhari's performance, some people still felt, well, at least on issue of corruption, Buhari still ranked high that time. But that he has divided the country so much, the economy wasn't working. So we need a unifier. And who has some business acumen? Atiku also was propped up as his major challenger for two good reasons. So those who stood by Buhari felt that corruption thing about Atiku is not stickling. We prefer the one that is not corrupt. So two of them ran neck to neck. It tells you how Nigerians vote. And let me tell you, most of these votes are not procured at the polling units. My experience has shown that most presidential elections are voted for free by the general public. Nobody pays anybody to vote for presidential election. No. People vote with determination for who they believe in. Ahead of this primary, the most popular aspirant on the platform of PDP was Peter Obi.
Was Peter Obi? Oh, yes.
You see, what Peter Obi is to the PDP today was what Buhari was to the APC in 2014. But the problem is, the PDP of today is not the APC of 2014. The APC then were more pragmatic. The Tinubus and others who had structure. They realized that, look, we can't do this election with any additional aspirants, no matter how rich they are. We need a man that has people power behind him, who people see as Messiah, kind of, and are ready to defy all odds to vote for. And the person is Buhari. Today, it is clear that the same reason people love Buhari then, it's the same reason people are actually loving Peter Obi. They see him as somebody who has proven that, okay, there could be decency in government. And he's not ready to play dirty politics to get this ticket because he's not coming to serve himself, serve people. And people are already converging around him. This is the first time in 2015 that I'm seeing volunteers for an individual.
Yes.
People are volunteering money, people are campaigning.
People are.
Me talking to you now, I saw Peter Obi last at an event in 2019, before the election, at an event. I don't have his number, I don't know him. I doubt if he knows, maybe by reputation anyway. But we are not friends, I don't have a relationship with him. But I'm speaking as a Nigerian. Even though I have a relationship with some of the people that are contending, I have structure, I have personal relationship with them. But I'm saying for that you can benefit personally, but what about national security? That's the problem. That's what I'm looking at now. So for the PDP to have allowed one of their best,
to have left.
And another best I'm seeing is Udom, who is not likely to get the ticket. The PDP would have given Nigerians the impression that, okay, we're not ready for any of those transformational ideas that either Udom or ILB is trying to prevail. We want power.
Yes.
Give me. I can take it.
The old ways of
I
doing
expect
things.
Nigerians to come out and support you against APC.
Yes.
How possible is that? So if the primaries go as I'm saying it, it's already a congratulations for the APC. So as Nigerians, let us just hope, anybody APC will bring, let God touch the person's heart.
But one other
do
thing,
well.
Majid, is it that these parties, they don't feel the pulse of Nigerians?
No, they are, particularly the PDP has the problem of being impervious to public uh, public sentiment. You know why? They are an establishment party. You know, they've been in power for so long, and they don't understand the role of people power in elections. They don't. But the APC, having been in opposition for very long, understand that you need people power. You need to show performance. Look, if Governor Zulum was in the PDP, they may have denied him ticket or they asked him to pay for a second term ticket. But Governor Zulum was returned in the MPC unopposed. And a lot of people are even saying, come and contest for president. And as we speak, the APC appears to preparing Zulum to become president in the next 4 years. That brings to mind the issue of Jonathan's 4-year term. There's a calculation that, okay, let's just come and do 4 years. So that Zulum can come to the center and do what he's doing in Borno. What I'm trying to let you know is, despite the failure of APC power, politically they're getting it right. If you observe too, you don't hear of too much of money changing hands in the APC.
Yes, come to think of it.
Even
like
if,
even though it's PDP,
even though it's
we heard of who that got vigilantes to get
even though I know that it will happen in PDP, in APC, I'm sure something will happen. But it's not something that you do and make it look like it's a party policy.
So brazen.
In fact, the party chairman of APC came out to say anybody giving money for election doesn't wish Nigeria well. It doesn't have good intention. I'm sure he said it because the irreducible minimum of public decorum for party leaders should be this stand against this kind of. The PDP is celebrating the fact that, okay, this person has money to give. So the one doesn't have money to give, doesn't want to give, let him go. And if you want to win the election, how can you win the election? Look at Konkoso. I know him very well. Konkoso is not a rich man at all. He doesn't give money to anybody. He saw those his followers are following with red cap. Konkoso will not even give money water to drink. He doesn't have to give. But they love him because of his performance as governor, particularly in second term. His revolution in education, infrastructure, also came and transformed Kano to almost a mini Dubai in 4 years, and was able to build schools. He built a university in the Northwest. University. And sent a lot of Kano students all over the world for studies. Those people, their families, their well-wishers are the ones you see congregating around Congress. So Nigerians are not idiots. We want good governance. People should understand this, and the people do not understand this. How can Nigerians vote for somebody, a man of questionable character? A man who goes about donating money. So that is the basis upon which you are giving him ticket. And let me tell you the truth. He has weakest is already with the ticket. Except Atiku is able to break it from his hand. As we speak.
But doesn't conscience anymore speak to their conscience anymore?
When you get so drunk in the river of illegal thin wealth, you become impervious to any form of conscientious thinking. It's nothing there. You become detached from reality. It's like everything now you now feel you can conquer. You have the money to conquer. They have forgotten that in 1999, no power, no money bank has won presidential election in this country. No. When Jonathan decided to use money in 2015, he lost. People have now asked, and how people have gotten the ticket? I said, no. The PDP leader should have understood that this is one man that can give credibility to our platform and give it grace. So the PDP, that the governors, people like Wiki and Co, would have collapsed their own structure. That's okay, take. People would have asked, in essence, for what? For victory for your party. Simple.
So can PDP afford to be in the opposition for the next
No,
4 years?
Might not be in
Next 4
opposition in the
years.
next 4 years. PDP might become one of the most irrelevant parties in the next 4 years. Yes, that is even the danger now. If Wike flies the flag of PDP, who will vote for PDP? Even in River State. Who? You think you're talking about state governorship? You're talking about a man that if he's angry with the governor, he can seize the allocation of that state. If he's angry with the governor, he can seize it. A man that will compel probably the service to become party members of his party for loyalty purpose. A small-minded person like this. How did we arrive here? How did PDP do this? And because PDP is an opposition party, they should have been the ones bringing up people that looks like saints
Yes. To come out.
to come out. So I don't know. My pain is we are about to go into one party state in Nigeria. If we can win this performance, and he's set to win. Yes, he has the structure. Yeah, he has in control of the structure. He has the NWC behind him. He's in control. He's likely to win.
Okay, away from PDP, let's go over to what other papers are saying. Let's take the Sun, Daily Sun newspaper. Daily Sun is all on APC presidential primary taking place tomorrow. Lawan Osinbajo Tinubu Onu Amechi Umahi look strong. APC presidential primary, Lawan Osinbajo Tinubu Onu Amechi Umahi look strong. The story is on page 6 and 27 of Daily Sun. On the right, it says Buhari party headers work towards consensus. Jonathan condemns party primaries, not lawmakers. It's still APC story on Blueprint. Let's see what Blueprint is saying on it, on APC presidential primary taking place tomorrow. 72 hours to APC presidential primaries, fear anxiety over party state of preparedness. 72 hours to APC presidential primaries, fear anxiety over party state of preparedness. Page 6 of Blueprint newspaper. Rotinibu group laments wounds. We are worried, say APC groups. No cause for alarm. Osinbajo's supporters. Still on APC presidential primaries taking place.
Yes, the APC is actually, I'm sure they'll come with a consensus.
What is going to happen? Given the fact that the president has jetted out of the country,
Well, when somebody cracked a joke,
that means
they
it's
say,
going to be a win.
whenever there is an important decision to be made, so that you don't have access to come and start complaining, the president will be out of the country. And
Like
then
we saw
something.
during the convention.
Well, I know they will
Although
try.
he came back.
They will try in the first instance to have a consensus. And like you said, you're back. I mean, you're back in the nick of time. So that make to sort to clear the confusion. Let me tell you something. President Muhammadu Buhari has not performed so well as a president in terms of administration and governance, but he's the most successful and most sophisticated politician in the Fourth Republic.
Oh yes, there was something that happened. I talked about Masari maybe going for senator
Mm.
position. So I was like, will Buhari allow him? Given the fact that he has been so vehement about his state of insecurity in
No,
his
no,
state.
no.
No, listen to what the
Eh,
colleague answered. He said, no, Buhari is not petty.
it's not petty.
He said it's Obasanjo that would
It's
have
not.
done
See,
that. That.
I have a lot. I have a lot to say about this
He said
man.
Buhari is not petty minded.
I have a lot to say about Buhari when he leaves power.
Yes.
But for now, I won't say it. That will be our tribute to his legacy. There's so many good things about the man.
Oh,
Did you see the permanence of the governorship in Katsina? It was keenly contested. No, it was neck to neck. That's the most
keenly contested.
tells you that maybe nobody break down on anybody's neck to say you must be the person on that. Do you know that Buhari's senator, I should speak, is a PDP member? There's no noise. The house can't be burnt. There's nothing. Nothing has happened.
He actually said so. He said, no,
So I think to some extent, Muhammadu Buhari, comparatively speaking, we have some level of political tolerance that many of us may not have realized in the last 7 years.
Yes.
To some extent, saying this against the backdrop of what happened in the River State. Somebody wants to be governor. He's in detention. Until after the primary. How do you know how to the person as commander in chief? So you see, You see, again, I have to make reference to that because the PDP failed more in opposition than they did in power by what they're already doing. You need leadership temperament to lead. Yes. It's a matter of self-control. You may not like something, may like somebody, but you know your responsibilities as a leader is okay. So you see, there's some sanitized, and the issue of insecurity is the truth. What Sari was saying, it's not that against Buhari, it's just this is the truth. There's insecurity in the country and in the state. It's simple as that. There's a limit to which I can defend certain things. And the man too does not look as if he's begrudging the governor for that.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's peace, there's some level of harmony among the APC, even in Buhari's home state. I've not heard so far that Buhari has any another candidate as governor in any of the APC states as president. I've not heard. Or senator, I've not heard. He allowed the governors to lead. And that would have meant allowing the process to take place. The same way I allow you guys to guide the leadership. But you guys are not doing the same thing. So there are some things that this man will have as his, okay, from his good side that we'll talk about after he's left office. But today we're focusing on the job he has to do. Get him to deliver the job by putting him on his toe.
So what happens? Are we to look at for consensus?
There will be move towards consensus. I understand that Jonathan is still in the mix. And I've said it before. What is the reason? If PDP goes south, which is likely now, thanks to Uncle Wiki, and then the APC might now be very comfortable to also go south. But in going south, they might decide to go with the Jonathan candidacy. Yes. Why? The PDP has made all the arguments for Jonathan candidacy. As a matter of fact. If you look at Atiku supporters, they have been talking about the fact that the North has been shortchanged. That's the argument by those that support Atiku in the PDP. And if you calculate the number of years the North has done as president on the South has done more than the North, particularly on PDP platform. Is that not so? So if this argument is valid, if it is valid, that means that, okay, for example, if it's not going to be possible to retain power in the North back to back after 8 years, then there's need for a stopgap, which is Jonathan, 4 years. He goes, and then the North now balances its own term with another 8 years. On the other hand, if Atiku himself emerges as candidate of the APC or the PDP, he also made the argument for Lawan to emerge from APC as well. Atiku's people have narrowed the argument not just to the north but to the northeast. Lawan is from the northeast. So if you want to question why APC didn't go south, they'll just pick Atiku's campaign documentary and play it for you and say, Atiku said if you come to the northeast, so have somebody in the northeast. But the question will now be, if you pick from the northeast, APC is strong party in the northeast. Will you pick a Lawan from the northeast and Atiku is picked from the northeast of the PDP? Can Atiku defeat Lawan in the northeast? As somebody who is seen as
the whole of the other south, Atiku will defeat him.
That is where the problem is. That is where the problem is. Atiku is now seen in the south as the person who has denied the south this ticket.
But they could still, since they don't have any of their person in each of the parties,
they will not decide to
go with Atiku. They won't go with
Atiku.
They will not go with Lawan.
Let me tell you what happened in the PDP. Atiku was the first to buy form ahead of the decision of the party to zone or not to zone. Atiku bought form, was the first person. That was the reason the party couldn't decide on zoning. It is dishonorable for Atiku and Tambuwal to contest this election. Let us say the truth as it is. You see, the northern wing of the APC, I've said it here before, have been very honorable. El-Rufais, the Masaris, the Cambridges, they are supporting their friends from the south.
Yes.
You see, I'm talking about Buratai, with Ndume. You've seen Osibajo be supported by Senator Kabiru Gaya from Kano. You've seen that Tinubu moving with, in fact, everybody. Almost everybody in the north is with Tinubu. That is how it's supposed to be. It's payback time. Look at the satellites that helped you to get power from the Sultana in 2015. Atiku, P2B and his kinsmen back to nearly 100%.
Yes, 2019.
And today, when it's supposed to be their turn, you are standing on their neck, claiming to be a unifier. You cannot let be a unifier when you are trying to take somebody's turn on the other side. The South hides against Atiku. So what happened? they will feel that it's better to now vote for the sure and winning
I agree
candidate.
with you. I think that.
Yes, that a friend who betrayed us. That is the mistake. I want to be has left PDP completely, so that the chance of him being running mate Atiku do not longer arise.
But did you know that it was Peter Obi that gave credibility
He doesn't know.
to,
Not just
to
Peter
the
Obi.
party?
Let me
No, PDP.
let us even
Peter,
discuss.
PDP, no.
Let's discuss identity politics a little. I don't like to discuss it, but for the purpose of the conversation, everybody knows that Buhari was popular in the northwest, northeast, and parts of north central. His Hausa Fulani Muslim people supported him. You know why? They believed he's a man of integrity.
Yes.
They don't support him to come and rule Nigeria. No.
Mm.
You know, they know him.
Mm.
You know, he's from
Yes.
there, so they feel,
It's one
we
of
know
them.
our son. That's why no other northerner is as popular as Buhari in the north.
Yes.
So, but this one, the fifth one is our son. We know him. He can do well. The same way the Yorubas used to love our logo. Our logo. Now, if you come to today's southeast, one of the three biggest tribes in Nigeria. In the southeast, the Igbos are not minorities in Nigeria. They're one of the three big tribes. Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. Now, if the Hausas are for Buhari, I have been from Buhari, and it pulls 12 million votes with that, being the largest voting bloc in Nigeria. Fine. The southeast vote across Nigeria, not just ones you see in the southeast.
I think you were the one that threw light
It
on
cannot be less than 10 million. That is the vote PDP was having on since 2015. You know, Igbos are synonymous to voting for PDP. It's like when PDP,
Yes.
if you go to any part of Nigeria today, like in my village, in 2015, I'll give you an example. I went to for my 20 units after starting the vote because we were very supporters. So 5 people voted for Jonathan. So the first question was,
You traced it.
no Igbo man came here to vote. So how did this vote happen? That was the first thing. That was the initial reaction in my polling unit. Because we know that it is only an Igbo man that will vote for Jonathan in such a hostile environment. So it was after about 2-3 years when I started complaining about Buhari that a young girl, my town's girl, my neighbor, now told me that of one of those people that voted for Buhari that polling. I voted for Jonathan. But if I told you that day, you would have beat me up. So I told you I voted for Buhari to allow peace to reign. But I voted for Jonathan. I saw what you're seeing now. Then, so you know, but it tells you that Igbo are so synonymous with. In 2019, it was the same set of people that gave Atiku 11 million votes. Most of it. Go and check the results. Atiku lost Yobe. Atiku lost Adamawa. Atiku lost Borno. Atiku lost Bauchi. Atiku only won Taraba, middle belt of the north. When you have middle belt, it is the Christian minority that's in the north, that is middle belt. Atiku won Adamawa with votes from the middle belt area of Adamawa State. Narrowly. Atiku had more votes in Anambra, in Delta, in Rivers, than he had in Adamawa State, his home state. So what are we talking about? So Atiku is not in position to help northern votes. He's not that kind of person. Now he has lost his vital support base in the south and in the middle belt by going to a race that the preferred choice of the middle belts and the southern people of Nigeria appears to be P2B. You have lost them. I think should have been the one supporting P2B as a counterweight to Wike. At least he can now go out and tell the northern part of the people and say, look, let's do this. But today he's in the race with P2B and thinking that he can help P2B's vote. It's not possible. Especially that P2B has left the party. If nobody didn't leave the party, it would be as if he stepped down for Atiku. But he has left the party, tell you that, look, I'm not interested.
A clean break.
Have you seen the headline there? It's called Obi Tsunami. It's that people are leaving, it's like there is a backlash on the PDP to the point that Wike himself had to go on a television to go and make some issues out of Obi's living by describing him as a man without integrity. Can you imagine? Now, Abadibi has left PDP. Ekomadu will be on the way out of PDP. These are the brightest stars of the PDP. People that withstood APC's initial aggression against the PDP. And because the party survived, this same party has treated them like lepers. I expect PDP to be able to do anything where the APC is. So, well, the APC, they have an array of contestants, if you ask me. Look at Tumahi. You want to talk about Tumahi's infrastructure development in Ebonyi. Umahi has transformed Ebonyi to be a more beautiful town than Enugu in just 8 years. In fact, Ebonyi today is the most infrastructurally developed part of Southeast. That's to Umahi. That's something to show. You'll be not like Amechi because of the train abduction. One thing is clear. It was his time as Minister of Transportation that he started at the finished Lagos Ibadan rail line. And he's passionate about building rail lines. And he's also a nationalist who is not a tribalist. Although in the first place supported Buhari, there's Jonathan. That's going for him. So if somebody is not tribalistic, or somebody is nationalistic, there is a high tendency that he can perform better, given certain conditions, than one that is very, very native and very provincial.
Leadership, we carried a leading story. Was it 3 days ago that Ogbonoya on is the dark horse?
Ogbonoya on is another
What do you say to that?
fine and distinguished politician who has paid his dues. It's just that in this government, the portfolio that of what these people they can't deliver because even the person on top doesn't have a roadmap for how to deliver. Ogbonoya Onu was one of the finest governors of the Third Republic. He was one of Abia State. Ogbonoya Onu established industries as governor. Ogbonoya Onu has consistently been in the opposition since 1999. He's so consistent that he wears only white and red card. In fact, that's part of his consistency. Ogbonoya Onu has been a decent politician, quiet, that people can easily rally around if your budget has that course. It's one of, to me, if everybody wants to heal this country today, he can consider Ogbonoya Onu from the Southeast. Because it was even Ogbonoya Onu's idea that formed the APC. People don't know this. Ogbonoya Onu felt we cannot defeat the PDP if we don't form the APC. And he moved, he moved about to get them to agree, and the process started. And today you have an APC party. Ogbonoya was one of the players behind that. What I expected Ogbonoya to have been SGM, as a matter of fact, not even the minister.
Yes, at the time.
So part of the reasons we already lost some level of support across the other side was the failure to make this man the SGF. He's a decent man. And that person there is Emeka Wajuba.
I was coming to that.
From Imo. These are also very decent people. Not forget about the fact that Osibanjo too is a widely popular figure who like to be seen as the man for the future by the younger generation. Then you can say anything about Tinubu, anything. I was in Lagos recently, and I realized something. It's in this same Lagos that you have Bode George always antagonizing Tinubu everywhere. To the point of questioning his ancestry, educational qualification, all of that. Sometimes Bakari would also go to his church and, we diss out some very diss sermons against this man. Opposition tribe in the state. Do you know that none of these people have ever been harassed, the properties destroyed? You're not even responded to them before. So I began to actually admire Tinubu's temperament as a leader. So, okay. What I want to say about this man, he has leadership temperament.
Normally, he says little.
He doesn't react. No reaction. He's very forgiving. So I'm willing, as a Nigerian, okay, even for this, let him even come if he's going to be given the opportunity. Over and above the prospects from each other side.
In his case, now, he has an impediment.
Age and ill health.
No, just religion.
Well, that is another issue. It's not an impediment, per se. You know why?
He's a Southerner.
He's a Muslim, right? Tinubu's cannot.
So, of course, it's expected that he will pick a Northerner as his running mate.
The truth is, the way Nigeria is now, nobody cares about vice presidency anymore.
Nobody cares
About vice presidency anymore. Once you have
but
the president,
religion is an issue now.
What I'm saying is, you see the Northerners.
So,
the Northerners.
You cannot have a Northern.
No, the Northerners will not mind a Christian from the North.
Okay.
What is vice president? If as Masari, as Ganduje, you have Tinubu, what's the potential of the Northern vice president? What is he going to do to do? What is able to do for everybody? Or one Jonathan was vice president? You get the point? So nobody is, it was before people thought vice presidency was something that was okay.
Mm.
Once you have the president now, it's okay for you now. Yeah. So the thing is, a coalition from the north appears to want a Tinubu, not because of his religion. Tinubu has been a chieftain of the Nigerian kind of politics, of patronage, what you call structure. He's a master. He's been there since 1999 doing it.
Yes.
So most people in the APC owe Tinubu one favor or the other in return as gratitude. And he does it in the way
And he
that
also told the ties in Jonathan's favor for 2011
he did. You know, Tinubu has,
in the Southwest.
you see, he's a good-natured politician, let me put it this way, who has, you know, some level of humanity in his politicking, you know, to some extent. So to that extent, he has a lot of followers. And people believe that he can work and they can chop. Aha, it's not that he's working for Tinubu very well. What I'm even saying is, I would prefer Tinubu any day, anytime, who I know will allow me to exist, even if my opinions and my leanings is against his own. If I want a president that will allow me to do what I'm doing now without harassment. If I do what I'm doing now, if Wike is president, he will bring videos ahead to demolish this
They
building
don't even tell you
and
that
arrest me to DSS.
this place was supposed to be a government.
It's supposed to be a green area. They want to plant flower here. He will do it. I don't want such a president. As in the list, I want one that allows us our freedom to talk, even if it's not performing. Let us be able to talk, to keep hope alive. So the APC for me still has slightly better options as it stands. And then that I might as consensus. It's okay. We can manage. Now I don't know that Obispo is going to a third force or going to vote a party. If that happens,
Like yesterday, he joined the Labour Party.
well, is it confirmed yet? Okay, once that is confirmed, I can assure you that the PDP has been relegated to probably the fourth position in Nigeria's ranking of political parties.
But are you not a bit disappointed that given 8 years, no other party has come up?
People were investing their emotions in PDP, thinking that as an opposition party, well, instead of
They
going
would have
through,
learned and put their
instead of
house in
going
order.
through the process of building new parties, it's just to quickly transform an old one into something new. But PDP has proven that they're not even aware of the situation on ground, that they detach from reality. And that is very unfortunate for an opposition party. So Nigerians are not likely to invest their emotions on the party any longer. No, they have proven that they are not ready for change at all. So
Yeah, you just said it that APC processes has been so smooth
to the
and
point that the national chairman came out yesterday to say, don't pay money for delegates. Even if nobody is paying
A
money.
colleague also mentioned that the person that emerged as a APC Guba in Abia State is also like a Tinubu. Is also like a Buhari. Is even Buhari's friend.
Emenike,
Yes.
to Buhari's friend since ANPP.
And they just.
I think his wife is ambassador to US.
Yes, that it was even to be said. He said no, and Buhari chose his wife.
So you see.
They are
politically more savvy than this other side, and I'm surprised. They are politically more. They understand the mood in the country,
yes,
and the need to do the needful.
And
they know
sanitizing the
they are trying
themselves.
to look at. Tinubu goes about. Yes, Tinubu donates. Tinubu does this of donating money to IDPs than that. But Tinubu has since started talking about issues, even with his frail health. I don't know if he's frail, but when you see Tinubu speak with a bit of difficulty, he tries to talk about issues. What he said he has done in Lagos. When Oswaldo speaks, of course, you know about now. Issue. Amici tells you, I've done this, I can do this. Somebody that goes and tells you, give me. I win. I'm the one that can win. I'm the one that can win. It's not about winning. Winning for what purpose? Others are saying, I want to deliver good governance. You are saying, I'm the one that can win. That is gross miscommunication. For an opposition party, for the leading candidate in an opposition party, is I don't know.
Well, thank you so much, Monty, for that. From politics, we are moving over to business. Let's discuss business, and that is on national economy. Headline story says optimism for higher returns in stocks as investors earn 1.1 trillion naira. Optimism for higher returns in stocks as investors earn 1.1 trillion naira. Manufacturing, telecoms lead dividend paying sectors.
So this is good news.
Good news.
Because this will restore confidence in the and by implication in the organized private sector with manufacturing, telecoms, and other aspects of the or sectors of the real sector of the economy. Because when people start investing now in blue chip companies through stock brokerage, the much needed investment, both local and international, will now come in to drive growth in that sector. So this is very, very, very. This is one of the best news I've heard in a long time. Because we had the problem of some of these companies are unable to actually pay dividends.
Yes. At the time, the stocks fell, but the prices
You know, in
just
fact, I
crashed.
had predicted it. Because I'm not an economist, I predicted stock market crash as far back as 2005. You know why? I discovered that most people buy shares not because of the dividends, but because of speculatory dividends. That is, you buy shares when it is low, when it is high, you sell. That's why I asked the question. If the various sectors that these uh, shareholder funds are going into do not begin to pay dividends, and this practice of buying and selling continues, now the time will come that everybody will go to the stock market to buy, to sell in a day, and there will nobody there to buy. And it happened around 2008, there was a crash. So with this, we might see confidence restored now to the stock market because it's important for confidence to be restored. Look, if I can invest my money in stock market and cross my leg and sit down and get my dividends, it's easier for me. But a lot of work needs to be done through fiscal policies and monetary policy of the government to boost the capabilities, particularly the export potentials of Nigeria's manufacturing sector.
Yes.
Once manufacturing sector in Nigeria is able to transform to export competitiveness and is able to export massively out of this country, it means the money people are using to buy shares will go into expanding export competitive capabilities, and the returns will come also from the sales overseas. So it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody. So government needs to pay more attention. Port reforms is actually key. Do you know it's very difficult to export out of Nigeria?
Yes.
Do you know that as we speak? I don't know if you've heard of Odogu bitters. Right now, Odogu bitters is oversubscribed in Nigeria. It's already manufactured by the Cubana group. It's revolutionary. I mean, they have orders in excess of what they can supply because of the owner, the chairman of Cubana group himself gave it a personalized marketing strategy. So people are simply trying to get a hold of a product that is associated with his name. It is now being taken abroad. A bottle of Odogu bitter sells in the UK for £12. That's something that's supposed to be selling in Nigeria for 600 naira. It's being sold for £12 in the UK. It's in such high demand. Odogu bitters do not have export license as we speak because of the difficulty in obtaining export license. They don't have it. That is, this market is waiting. Or they brought in Forex. They've not been able to grant them export license. So that's one of the challenges in manufacturing in Nigeria.
It's so much. And
It's
we
so
have
much.
a hub. Like for instance, shea butter.
Yes.
In the Nigerian side.
Yes.
Yet we are not exporting shea butter.
Because
It's something that's
there's
supposed
no
to be making
focus. You see,
in
there's no focus on external engagement. It's not. I talk about it all the time, and I'm like, is it supposed to be so? There was today I was invited for a meeting with one of the former high commissioners of South Africa embassy here, and he told me that South Africa has changed their foreign policy from political to economic. So it's no longer about solidarity. They want to launch South African businesses all over Africa. We have a lot of South African businesses in Nigeria already. Says that they want more. And then I asked him a question. How many companies, South African companies, you have in Nigeria? He said over 300 plus.
over 300.
So I asked him, how many Nigerian companies you have in South Africa? No. No. I said, no, what I mean, investment. No. And so I told him that that's a challenge. The patriotism in me, I have to let him know that too. For us to be able to help you promote South Africa as their preferred business partner over and above China, Lebanon, India, at your request, be prepared to also make certain kind of concessions to make it easy for our own businesses to also move into South Africa. He looked at me. I'm sure he would like, this is the kind of Nigerian I wanted to speak to. No, this is not the case. In fact, I should be excited that South African companies are coming to Nigeria and creating jobs. No, not creating jobs for us. But you open shops in Nigeria. It is the money we use to patronize your services.
It's what Nigerians did not
Don't
understand during the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and they were protesting Nigerians should close their businesses. Nigeria. If you close, who suffers it?
So
throw more Nigerians into the labor market.
So you see, the South African government, unlike all other progressive-minded governments, understand the value of foreign trade. That a country exists for the purpose of trade and investment. There's no other reason. And now I go back to the issue that lady usually raised in her own campaign mantra.
Okay.
She will need to have citizenship, we need to build a nation to be able to be competitive. Do you know why nobody's giving Odogu bitters export license? It's because somebody that is where they're supposed to process this thing. That's not his focus. His focus is to take on the system, back to where he's coming from. Maybe he's contesting for governor now or senator. So if you want CBN governor, or want to abandon his job here as CBN governor, to be governor of Delta, president of Nigeria. What does that tell you? The one in Minton and Prince wants to be governor of Katsina. So the person that's supposed to attend to this export license, so we are looking for votes.
The son, is calling for his sack.
No, I think it is overdue, really. Yes, the president cannot sack the CBN governor. What he can do is to call him and say, Mr. Man, resign to save my government, whatever is left of his integrity and credibility.
Yes. Actually, because you made a mockery of the offices of the
seriously.
So sad. And I even went to court. Forces for the
what audacity.
That's all we can take for today's Inside Nigeria. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to host you on the program. And my name is Winifred Gwebo, and here is wishing you to have a beautiful and safe weekend. Don't forget, security is everybody's business. Try and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.